Hello, 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 and welcome back to you and also to me. It's been a long time since I made a video, that's for sure. I think it's been about 2 weeks. I am going to try my very best to articulate in words what I feel and see happening on this planet right now. I call this the great quaking of Earth and the panning for gold that is currently happening on our planet. I do realize, as I say in every video, that this will switch to private. You guys will all be kicked off, and then I'll come back and readjust it later. Okay? So I am aware of that, but there are people that point that out to me in every video. I just want to make you aware that I am aware. I don't know if you guys are seeing number sequences to the extreme that I am seeing number sequences right now, but this is so amped up for me, so incredibly amped up right now, that before I made this video, I went and bought myself some lottery tickets with the numbers that I keep seeing over and over and over again. Now, if I disappear off the radar, it's because I won the lottery and left the country, okay? And it's very highly probable that both will actually happen. So, if I'm gone, don't look for me. Know that I'm either in Africa or South America somewhere, living it up and having a wonderful time. So, I'm going to try my best now to put into words what I've been seeing, hearing, and feeling. The extremes in not being seen for me has never been so extreme. A couple of days ago when I went out for a walk, and mind you, I do not walk when it says walk unless I am in the space where I can run and there are no cars coming. With that being said, I was 3 times in the middle of the crosswalk when I had the right of way, and all 3 times almost got hit by a car. Now, this is me talking about whether I am seen or not seen in extreme cases. So the same day that I almost got hit 3 times in a crosswalk, I was walking listening to some African music very loudly, and I felt like someone was behind me, and I go to turn around, and just as I go to turn around, somebody taps me on the shoulder, and this guy hands me a piece of paper. And so not only had everyone else on the first 7 miles not seen me, this man not only saw me, but he saw me from a faraway range on Coleraine Avenue and decided it was a good idea to park his car, write down his phone number, and give it to me. Now, I wear an engagement ring, and I told the man I was engaged. But I guess in some cultures, maybe that doesn't mean no. I was pretty shocked that he continued after that. Now, I am not engaged, but I do wear an engagement ring, and because it has gotten so extreme, it's either someone's trying to get me in their car or they almost hit me with their car. So, welcome to my world. And I've been walking more and more and more and more, no matter what I do, whether I wear bright clothing or whatever. For some reason, most people are not seeing me. And the message in that is this: when someone doesn't see you, don't ask them to, don't beg them to, and don't raise your hands and flail and ask to be seen by people who just can't see you. So, energetically, where we are right now is there is an energy of panning for gold on this planet. Now, I'm not sure why it was expressed to me or why I had the vision of panning for gold, other than the fact that, like I always say, things are explained to us in the easiest way that we can understand. I remember when I was a child, we took a trip out west in the Volkswagen bus. Hello, Dad. And my parents took us to pan for gold somewhere in Oregon. And the reason I'm going to explain to you what panning for gold is or how that works is so you'll understand the analogy of what I'm seeing, feeling, and hearing on a planetary scale. So to pan for gold means essentially to dip your cup or your bowl into an area where there has been seen to be or known to be gold in the veins of earth in that area. You dip your bowl in there, you swirl it around, and anything that is not precious comes to the top and you let it go, you get rid of it. And all that is precious will sink to the bottom. In this case, gold will sink to the bottom of the bowl, and that's where you have your treasure. And the reason that I am making this analogy is because it was the way that I was shown what is happening to us energetically on this planet as we pan for gold. Now, I started hearing a noise about 4 days ago, but there's been a lot going on in my life, so I did not really look at what that was or where that was coming from. Right now, there is a magnetic readjustment and a magnetic realignment of the Earth's grids. This is happening in preparation for a migration of geographical moves that the first wave is going to make. And I was shown about 2 weeks ago that this energy was really going to hit us very hard between the 11th and 22nd of May. Does that mean people will be moving, relocating at that point? Some people, I'm sure, could have or would have or maybe did move at that time, but it's an energy, it's like an avalanche of energy that's moving in towards us geographically. The grids magnetically readjusting and magnetically realigning are causing us to magnetically realign as well. And also our movement on those poles and on those nodal points is also causing the energy of the earth to realign magnetically itself. So we are in a symbiotic electromagnetic exchange of energy with the earth's grids that is causing a lot of movement within the plates and a lot of movement within our body's meridians as well. Many people will be making geographical adjustments to their current grid stations. And this is going to happen for many people in many different ways. So when it starts happening or when you feel the pull geographically, know that it is partially about your soul realigning and your soul's grids, meridians, readjusting energetically to what's going on. But also there is a much larger picture to this, because right now, let's say I am the only person in Northside in my small little area of the city right now with a certain capacity to hold an amount of light that is way different from the rest of the population of this very small area. So when someone else comes into my household from a great distance, that will shift tremendously this nodal point. And again, it's a realignment of electromagnetic energy within the grids, but also this other person showing up here will make, instead of me being one nodal point, it will make a pillar of light and dark and contrast, divine balance between masculine and feminine energy. That's why I'm talking about this. The next video will be a lot more about this subject than what I'm seeing now, because for the past 2 days I've been seeing something pretty amazing going on. And so I'm going to wait for the geographical male-female pillars until the next video. So we're looking at a huge amount of us on the first wave. And when I say first wave, people often point me to other people's work, but no, most of you know I don't listen to other people's work, but on a rare occasion. So when I say first wave, I mean first wave of conscious expansion on the planet. And you know if you're in that first wave of conscious expandedness at this time. So I don't think I have to explain that. Humans are literally becoming a part of a great migration, okay? Like, so there's going to be a huge shift in our migratory pattern so that we can form this divine feminine, divine masculine nodal point balance. And the reason for that, again, it's a magnetic alignment where we are shifting the grids, and that's something I'll go into in the next video. But we essentially are migrating to adjust the grid system. We're being asked to adjust the grid flow, and this will happen so that we strengthen the 5D light grid. That is the reason why it's happening. The last video I made a couple of weeks ago, not my personal update, but back up before that, I was talking about how we have lost as a civilization our connection to the center of Earth, to the crystalline frequency grid of Earth, and how we are gaining that back, and the strength and the magnitude that that is going to have, not only on this planet and our personal lives, but also the universal draw for energy, which was building up to, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, but essentially we are building up to male and female polarity on each nodal point, together in harmony, creating a partial flower of life, so that as we connect to those other divine unions across this planet, we all connect together when we shift on those nodal points to form a flower of life, which will then overtake the crystalline grid of the planet. So our connection to the Earth's core is creating this huge wall of energy. And I've been seeing this wall of energy for probably the last 4 or 5 weeks. Now, I knew this wall of energy was divinely and directly connected to the adjoining and realigning feminine, masculine energy within the grid point, but I didn't understand what the energy was. I was seeing this huge wall of energy behind or surrounding the divine masculine feminine on the nodal points, and I wasn't quite understanding what this energy was. It literally was just a huge wall of energy. So I actually pulled a tarot card reading that I read personally just for myself to find out what this huge wall of energy was, and all the reading told me, the tarot reading told me, was everything I already know. And so I kind of sat here looking at the cards, looking at what I had written down, and wondering, why are the tarot cards mirroring back to me exactly what I already know about this huge wall of love and the divine feminine masculine gravitation or magnetic pull to certain grid lines? Why is it showing me a mirror of what I already know and not explaining to me what that energy was? And then I kind of sat in disbelief as I heard reverberating back to me that they are one and the same. There is no difference. So this huge wall of energy is this huge wall of divine love that is pulling us to new geographical locations within the nodal point to make the flower of life crystalline grid of 5D strengthen. And I'll go into the reasons for that in the next video. I have been seeing for about the past 2 weeks now that the sun is doing what I can only describe as an earthquake. And I have not actually, hi guys. And I see comments now. We'll see how long those last. And this is why I don't look at content. I get so easily distracted, you guys. I really do. I did not look up what's going on in the sun, because I wanted to let it finish showing me what it wanted to show me. And so I'm seeing these big quakes. Now, normally when we have a sunspot, then we get some kind of coronal mass ejection or CME from the sun, which expels energy towards the earth or somewhere in the cosmos, depending on which way that's directed and whether it's earth facing or not. But instead of having one particular region or one particular point on the sun, letting off this energetic kind of exhaust, it is actually happening. The entire sun is shaking. I'm seeing the entire sun quaking. So essentially the sun is having what I can only describe as an earthquake. Now, energetically, and I've been talking about this for probably the past 3 years, whatever happens on the sun, the male side, is then magnetized into the female, which is the core of Earth. Earth is Earth, mother female Earth. So that is being magnetized to the core. So this quaking on the sun is then being magnetized towards the feminine, towards the core. And this is what is spurring these geographical locations on the nodes. But that masculine energy coming from the sun is pulling magnetically into the earth, causing what I can only then describe as a quake coming from the core of Earth. Now, these quakes go from the sun to the core of Earth. Then the quake within the core of Earth goes to the core of the human body, which is our flux capacitor, aka our heart center. Okay, so what's going on with our heart center? Our heart center is then shaking, quaking, vibrating, realigning, readjusting to everything that is going on. It's causing a huge shift in our heart space. Now, the thing about that shift is, so we go from the macrocosm of the whole world going through this panning for gold, if you will, to looking at ourselves on the micro level and our own flux capacitor of our heart, which is also asking us within our lives to adjust to what is going on in the heart center of our body. What is going on in the flux capacitor of our body? Where is our joy? Where is our happiness? Where is our soul alignment? And you guys, I've been talking about this for a while, but while we have a sun that is quaking, a planetary core that is quaking, and a heart center that is quaking, that means we on the micro are being also asked to pan for gold. Now, panning for gold on the metaphysical level or the symbolic level means dipping in with that pan or that cup into your life, into your energetic field, okay, and pulling up and shaking that pan or swirling that pan, that heart center, okay, with everything that's going on in there. And it's asking us, it's begging us, it's pleading us. I know you've felt this over the last few months, to really take that cup and really look at what brings us love, what brings us fulfillment, and what brings us soul alignment into our lives. So when we are personally panning for gold, we're taking that bowl or that cup or that chalice of the Holy Grail, is a good way you could look at it. Very, very connected to that chalice of the Holy Grail, not in a religious way, but in some very symbolic way, because I'm very connected to that bloodline. But what our heart center is quaking and shaking and realigning and asking us to do this thing, that is to scoop down into our life with this holy chalice, okay, and shake to the bottom all that is beautiful, all that is soul alignment, all that is love, all that is compassion, and all that is in alignment with everything that I ever was, everything that I ever am, and everything that I will ever be, so that I can take what's precious in my heart space and in my soul and keep that and let everything else go. Okay, that's really that's really huge for us to know. And like I said, I have been talking about this for a while now. Now, on the macrocosmic level, yesterday when I woke up, and I had been hearing this sound for the last 5 or 6 days, super, super high vibration in both of my ears. Anytime that I'm sitting in a quiet space of stillness or even walking around the city, I am hearing a very, very high vibrational frequency. Today in meditation, I asked to look directly at what that frequency is and what it is doing. When I asked that question, I saw the quaking of the sun and the quaking of the core. Okay, coming in, we have a real gyration going on between the North Pole and the South Pole, and that is coming from the core of Earth. The core of Earth, yes, there's my beautiful engagement ring that I wear to ward people off. It's a beautiful ring, but it's not working. Okay, so the center, the core is gyrating. We have a North Pole and a South Pole that's gyrating. And then I was shown Australia is right on the line. It's on the 129th meridian. Okay, so the gyrating core causing the North Pole, the South Pole to gyrate on the 129th meridian. For some reason, I was shown that's where the majority of the happenings are. I was very tempted to look up what was going on in Australia right now, but I did not, because I started seeing that it was shaking up the water, that it was bringing in high winds, that there was flooding going on, probably quaking going on. And all kinds of energetic shifting within the nodal points. The reason that's happening is the same reason we are being asked to pan for gold on the microcosmic level within our own heart, within our own heart's vessel, with the chalice of the Holy Grail, in sifting what is precious to our soul and our heart and keeping it. It's also what I was shown is the exact same thing that's happened on a planetary scale. And for some reason, it is really rocking the 129th degree parallel meridian at this time. So Australia is being pulled between the gyration of the North and South Pole. That's going to cause a lot of energetic happenings. And again, it's happening on the macrocosm for the same reason it's happening a microcosmic level for us. That is a very, very old, very indigenous, very, everything is precious, but very, very precious sanctuary of indigenous energy. And the reason for the shaking on the 129th parallel between the North and South Pole, specifically in Australia, is because the Earth is asking Australia now to pull in what is of its original soul essence and shake everything else loose. I know that we are really tempted to pray or meditate on stopping these kinds of things. I ask you to really think about it before doing that. Certainly, when these things happen, we want to pray for people, the plant life, the animal life, all sentient life. But we don't want to stop the process of what's happening. Now that I'm making this video, I can see that it's going to shift from the 129th parallel over to a different parallel as well. And we are going to take turns on each continent with that shaking vibration between the North and South Pole, so that we may pan for gold, so to speak. And again, that just meaning that we let whatever is heart-centered and really soul-centered and whatever is really in alignment be grounded into the core of Earth and shake all the lower frequency man-made stuff out and just let it go and release it. This has been a huge time of release, as you know. The eclipse in Scorpio was intense. I forget how many, but I think when I was born, 7 or 8 of my planets are in Scorpio. So I'm not what I like to call a light Scorpio, but I'm very, very, very heavy on that scorpionic energy. So I felt that one very, very, very deeply. I will not share my sob story with you on that one, however, but it was definitely shaking my heart center and making me take a really good look at what I really feel in my soul to hold on to, and what I feel called as well to let go of. So there's a lot of energy. This wall of love is really, really pushing on us, okay? And it's pushing us to make decisions that we want to make. And I know I talked several weeks ago about doing a reading specifically on the whole reset, the financial reset. And I did talk briefly, and I did make a brief video about that and what I saw on the energetic happenings with commodities happening on the 4th of July. What I want to talk about in regards to that is I can feel and sense a very huge holding pattern within the first wave, because they have an earthly understanding and yet both an earthly and cosmic understanding that this will bring so much more freedom and creativity into our lives when we do not have to work for some master of something in the physical 3D reality outside of ourselves, but then can focus on where we are drawn to, what we love, and what we are in resonance with. In saying that, there is such a huge part of the first wave that is waiting to live their life until this reevaluation happens, right? Until they can be free of financial burdens. That I decided to actually not do that. And I will tell you, 3 weeks ago when I started to do the reading, I pulled 2 cards. One was the death card, which is the death and rebirth. There's not much to explain there. And the card crossing it, the obstacle for humanity in crossing humanity's challenge, was the Hierophant. That's the hierarchy. So there's a huge part of the expanded consciousness of the first wave that is literally staying stuck in unfulfilling, unimaginative, unloving situations with family, with friends, with households, with interpersonal dynamics, with jobs that are not fulfilling, because they are waiting on something externally from them to shift this financial system so we can be free. The reason I stopped doing that reading is when I saw that the only thing that was crossing the death and rebirth of the financial system was us. It's our view. It's the energy that we hold. If we don't shift that energy to I will prosper. I will set myself free. I can and I will do what I want to do now. I can let myself be called to who, to where I want to be called right now, energetically, geographically, symbolically, in every possible way, because we are the ones, and this is the reason I stopped doing that tarot reading, we are the ones that are going to cause the shift. If our great, big, gigantic, expanded consciousness on the first wave is expanded and aware in our heart center that this reevaluation is going to give us freedom, we take the freedom. When we take the freedom back, when we take the power back, that's when the financial system is going to change. So I really ask you to be like the Hanged Man in the tarot. Take a new perspective. Take another look. What am I holding on to while I wait for money or pentacles or something to manifest in the third dimension that makes me feel solid and grounded in a 3D realm that I don't even like? And I'm saying specifically, we're talking about knowing financial freedom is coming, knowing in our heart that we're going to be free to do whoever, wherever, whatever we want to do. That's so beautiful. But if we don't right now let go of the fact that we have to wait for something external to do it, we're the only ones slowing the process down. Okay? That quantum financial system, guys, it's already in place. It's been in place for years. Those new Basel 1, Basel 2, Basel 3 compliant things that they've been worked on for decades. They're done and ready to go. What's the holdup? The holdup is the hierarchy in our mind, the establishment in our mind that something in our 3D external reality dictates where I love, where I'm free, where I travel to. And as soon as we can get everyone to realize this and make that jump and take that giant leap of faith and do whatever it is in alignment with us, when we allow ourselves to take that holy chalice and pan for gold, what's in here? What's in the core of earth? What is this universal joy? What is this omniversal, omnipotent, omnipresent joy within me, within this planet, within you? And we make those moves. That's the domino. Everything else is just waiting on you, waiting on me. I hope that this makes sense. It's always funny when I write things down and I look at them and I'm like, none of these things go together. None of these things make any sense, but they do. They do make sense. If you want change, you have to be the change. If you want love, you have to be love. We have to be what we want. We have to be what we aspire to see in the world. And that statement has been used so many times, but I have never, ever seen it more clearly than right now, how important it is to be with yourself in joy. And if you are in a place where you cannot be in joy, look into your holy chalice. What is in your cup? What's missing from your cup? What fulfills you that is not in your cup? What is pulling you? What is this longing in your heart and this longing in your soul to be a part of something, to create this change on planet Earth? And guys, we all play a part in this. Every single person on every single nodal point geographically has a part in this. But let's remember that the first wave, and I'm not saying it's better, but energetically we have more power, we have more pull, we have more capability and more power to make the change than anybody else. But we have more people on the first wave. And I say this because the first wave is the second wave is aware of much to do about the financial freedom that is coming. Yes, they do. Okay, and we are all powerful and we are all ascending, but we're doing it gradually and we're doing it in stages. So the reason I'm saying this to you, the reason I'm kind of pleading this out to you as the first wave, as we have more power to change it than the second wave. We have more power to change it than the third wave. Okay. We also have more power to change it than the elemental kingdom, the fairies, the plants, the animals. We also have more power to change it on the other side. Okay, so you go Earth, first dimensional consciousness, and then you have the third, second, and first wave of consciousness, which is us. On the other side of our first wave of consciousness for a very long time, we've been dealing with the angelic realms, ascended masters, all of that. Okay. But again, the thing that they've been trying to drive home, the reason for 1 million channeled messages in the last 10 years, is they are assisting us. They are guiding us. They are giving us signposts and synchronicities, but the reason they're doing it is not because they're going to do it for us. And any channeling that tells you they're going to do it for us, it's not an accurate channeling, okay? It's not a channeling that we need to give any credence to whatsoever, because we are working with the core of Earth as the first dimension, okay? We are working with the ascended masters, with the angelic realms, with the interdimensional beings, with the star beings, with the light beings, with these ships, all of these things. We are working with them. But again, the first wave has the largest capacity of light, the largest capacity of awareness, and the largest capacity of power and illumination to make this financial change. And all the other changes that we've been looking around at signposts for. And stop looking. Stop looking for it. It's here. It's here. And when you adjust to it, when you align to it here, like a domino, it will become your reality. It will become the reality. So if you are consciously aware of this financial system, or you are consciously aware of the things on this planet right now that need to change, make the change internally and watch what happens. Okay? This planet is waiting on us to do it. We know it. It's already in our consciousness. Quantum financial system already exists. The papers are already signed. The T's are crossed. The I's are dotted. There's nothing left holding us back except for those that are in the know, not taking the next step. So please, take the next step and align. Because if you do not, this geographical movement on the grid, on the nodal points, is going to be very, very uncomfortable for you. There's a lot of moving, a lot of shaking, a lot of shake, rattle, and roll. Okay? There is a lot of shake, rattle, and roll. Your heart is shaking, your heart is quaking, your heart is expanding, and it is asking you. It is pleading with you, it is begging with you to just do it. Just do it. Thank you for being here, and thank you for doing it. Thank you for doing it with me. I love it. I can't wait to travel. I just cannot wait to travel. I really, I'm going to have to get some kind of international phone or Wi-Fi, if that even exists, so that I can make these energetic updates from the next geographical location that I happen to be in. I love you, as always. Thank you for being here. There are a couple of other things that I want to bring to your attention. The first one is this, and if you guys have watched previous videos, I've been talking about the super inflated, over ridiculously out of whack financial market specifically pertaining to the housing market. Okay, this is coming solely from my heart space. I know nothing about economics. I'm going to tell you right now what I feel. If you are thinking about selling a house or refurbishing a house or revamping a house to make it worth more money, there is never a better time to sell your house than right now. And I don't care if it is a mess. The market is so inflated. If you want to move or use that money for travel or some other whatever it is that you're feeling called to do, and you have a house, do not wait to sell that house. I see the housing market crashing. Time frames are hard for me because I'm really feeling and seeing it right now. That doesn't mean right now, and I have a hard time with this. It's a good time to It's not a good time to sell a house if you're looking to then buy a house that is the same size house, because that's not right now. You need some place to go in the interim. But what I'm saying to you is the financial market in regards to real estate is inflated about 40 to 60% above what it should be, which is really good news for you. If you have a piece of property you'd let go of, I say do it now, because I see within the next, I'm going to say 90 days, it's going to absolutely tank. We might not have that long. I'm not sure. The good news is within the next couple of months, people will be able to easily procure and have access to buying property that have not previously had access to buying property, like me, who pays $7 million to rent an apartment. So I wanted to throw that out there. If you have real estate, you're thinking about it, you don't need to do any of the things that they tell you that normally you need to do to sell a house. List it, sell it yourself, keep the 7%, 8%, whatever it is. It's crazy right now. Get out from under that, because there is never a time to get better money. And I'm not saying that to do that out of greed. I'm saying if you have property and you've been thinking about selling it so you can travel, or you're thinking about selling it so you can downsize, do that right now. This market's going to crash. We are being asked to look out over the horizon on all the things that we have given beautiful energy to, and know that those things are coming back to us. Know that our ships are coming in. Okay. There's going to be a lot of travel. There's going to be a lot of people traveling to me. There's going to be a lot of people traveling to you. There's going to be us traveling to other places and other people. Okay. For reconciliation, for cooperation, for this electromagnetic reset of planet Earth that requires a large group of us on the first wave to change geographical locations. And I will talk about that in the next video. And the last thing is, yes, I'm finally back open for tarot readings. So if you're interested in that, leave a comment here. I know it's erased all of your comments, and as soon as I said that, it's all coming back up. Oh, hi guys. I see you for a second and then you disappear. So hopefully the people that were nice and kind and generous with their time and stayed here will come back and leave their comment, because I saw like one comment, and every time I look at them, they disappear as usual. And I know this is going to make itself private, and I'm going to have to readjust the computer system and change it and reboot it and edit the video to do all that stuff. I love you. Thank you for being here. Again, I'll go back to the exchange between masculine, feminine energy on the grid points, the nodal points, and these geographical location nodal points changing, and us changing on them, and us causing the changes. That will be the next video. Thank you for being here. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you, alongside you. And just remember, and always know, that wherever there is love in the heart, there is also forgiveness. Everything happens for a reason. And the reason is usually something that you need to learn. And so thank you for all the amazing teachers I've had in this last year. I love you. Bye.